What's up, guys? We're live. I'm John. This is Chris. Heck Podcast. And we're going to do a fellas episode because it's been a little while since we've done one, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a little while since we've done anything.
I know, yeah, man. Shit. We've had like yeah. I don't even know. I think it's been like a 2-week break, pretty much. 3 weeks?
Yeah.
2-3 weeks, something like that. But we've got a lot of cool stuff that we haven't yet posted. I think by the time this airs, hopefully the Jordan one will be up. Yeah. And then we've got an interview that we did, our podcast episode with Casey Jarvis. Freaking fun. And yeah. That's pretty much it. We've got those two down right now. Hopefully we've got some more cool stuff in the works, man. But this last weekend was UFC 240.
I think it was 2.
2, yes, it was 242. With Khabib and Dustin Poirier. And, man, going into it, I really wanted Dustin to win. That's where I was at for it.
I was in the same boat. I'm not a Khabib fan.
I'm not either, to be honest with you. I don't really like his style of fighting, and I think Tony Ferguson said it best just recently in an interview. Like, he's very boring to watch and very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
That's really, really sums him up.
100%. I mean, granted, that one dimension, he's basically perfect at.
Yeah, he's mastered it, for sure.
But, I don't know, it's just, everybody falls into the same trap.
Well, like Bruce Lee said, you've got to be like water, man.
Yeah.
And adaptable. He seems like... It's almost like I kind of wish that somebody would go... what's his name? Jorge Masvidal on him. Because you know he's eventually going to go for that shoot. He's just not as blatantly obvious as Ben Askren was.
Yeah.
You know Khabib's going to go for that shoot. And he's okay enough standing up. I think he's better than Ben Askren is standing up. He's okay enough that he can, lure you into stand and bang with him for a second and then get you in that takedown. And I feel like that's where he's kind of, I don't know, that's where he's getting a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's luring him into that, we're going to stand and bang fight and drop your attention from his takedown.
Yeah. I don't know. It drove me up the wall because... I mean, I understand, you're going in there against a high-level grappler, probably one of the best grapplers in the UFC.
Yeah.
So you've got to have some sort of defensive game plan in your brain to handle the takedowns. But that's the only thing that everybody goes in there with. I mean, even Conor McGregor admitted it, that almost his entire training camp was defensive and trying to defend the takedowns.
Yeah. He
didn't have an offensive training camp because all they wanted to do was make sure he defended those takedowns. And that's
a huge flaw, man.
Yeah, it's the biggest flaw because if he gets a hold of you, you're getting taken down. It doesn't matter how much takedown defense you do or you train. He's better than you at wrestling and take you down.
I mean, in his culture, they fucking wrestle bears, dude.
Yeah.
you got no chance.
Yeah, so it's gonna have to take a fighter that goes in there and says, all right, I'm gonna go in there and do what I'm best at.
And not just that, but I feel like, and I know this is probably people are gonna be like, it's like a very newbie type opinion, but I think, in all honesty, it's gonna take even somebody like Conor, when Conor was Conor, before Conor left, to catch him with something and knock him the fuck out. Dustin almost got him. Dustin in the second or third round caught him with I think it was a right, but he caught Khabib for a second, and Khabib was stunned, and then he recovered pretty well. But if Dustin would have been able to continue that, he would have been good. There were a few times in that fight where I feel like Dustin exposed a couple of holes that Khabib had.
And see, that's what I was thinking this whole time is Dustin has really good fundamental boxing. Yeah. Really good basic stuff.
He doesn't waste a lot of strikes either. He's very precise.
And I thought in my mind he would crack him with one of those.
He did.
And take advantage of it, but, I mean...
Yeah, and I feel like the reason I say Conor probably could have beaten him before he took that break, like we talked about before, timing and distance. He was very off in that fight. If you go back and rewatch it, it's free on YouTube right now. Go back and watch that fight. Conor looked really off, to the point that it looked like Khabib was a better striker than Conor.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah. It was the two main aspects that go along with ring rust.
Yeah.
Are the timing and your distance calculation.
Mm-hmm.
Because in sparring, you're not trying to knock the person out. So you rein back your punches. You hold back on power. You try not to hit them as hard as you can.
Yeah.
And then if you haven't fought a real fight in like 2 or 3 years, that transfers into that real fight because you just can't reach them.
Yeah, and even if you're training somebody, I think Conor had Paul Magliani or whatever his name is. He had him as a sparring partner for a little while, but they were still sparring with 16, 12-ounce gloves. I'm pretty sure it was 16. Yeah. So, he was still sparring with some pretty thick boxing gloves as opposed to a 4-ounce MMA glove. Mm-hmm. So...
And if you look at the distance on some of those strikes he missed him with, it was about that much of padding.
Yeah.
You could see where if he was wearing those gloves, he would have hit him.
Yeah.
But
so, I feel like that's what it's going to take, man. Somebody to really just catch Khabib. And I feel like, honestly
Tony Ferguson.
Fuck him up, dude.
I feel like if Khabib beats Tony Ferguson, then I'll admit that Khabib is one of the greatest lightweights of all time. But before that time, I'm never going to say it.
And here's another thing, too. And this just... I've seen a lot of fighters that have been doing this recently. They keep on pushing this agenda of, greatest fighter of all time, greatest pound for pound, and all that stuff. I get it. You're building up your promotion. But honestly, if you keep saying it so many times, it kind of loses its value. They were freaking... Whenever Stipe won when he won his 4th title defense, everybody's greatest of all time. And then his next fight, greatest of all time, just got taken over by the greatest of all time, DC.
Yeah.
And then DC lost to Stipe, and now they're Stipe is the greatest of all time. Stop saying greatest of all time. They say it so much. But
I'll admit that Stipe is the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yes, hell yes. That's what I'm definitely going to
greatest of all time, no. That title probably goes to John Jones.
Yeah,
Even
right.
though I don't want him to have it, he's one of the best fighters to ever be in the UFC period.
Yeah. Well, and I feel too, he's kind of at that age right now where he could move up eventually into heavyweight, and then depending on his first 2 or 3 fights at heavyweight, that would really depend on, is he the greatest fighter of all time? If he can move weights, because a lot of other fighters, you've had, people obviously the first to do was Conor, but you've had a lot of people that move weight classes and can dominate those weight classes, too. So, I think Jones is young enough in his career that he could gain that weight naturally and be there, not have to do a weight cut, and if he brings that power, brings his talent and his speed and everything up to heavyweight with him and destroys that division, there's no question. He's obviously the best of all time.
I feel in his recent career, though, he gets hit a lot more.
Yeah.
And I think that's because he likes dominating people on the feet more recently.
Yeah.
Used to, he would do anything it took to beat him and just annihilate him.
Yeah.
Wrestling, it didn't matter what he did, he just annihilate him.
Now he's trying to do it.
More recently, he's trying to show his stand up, and he wants to get those highlight reel knockouts.
Yeah.
And I think if he tries to do that heavyweight, he might be in for
dude. There's some people that there's no way he could fight like that. Francis Ngannou. Have you seen somebody actually outstrike him? I haven't ever either. So I don't see Jones doing that to Francis. You got to get Francis down, or you got to submit him, or something like that. I'd like to see what happens when Francis gets tagged. Good.
Yeah.
To see what actually happens. And somebody else, man, that was on this last UFC was Curtis Blades. I feel like in his rematch with Francis, they pulled it way too quick.
Yeah.
And that's happened with they keep on throwing this Francis Ngannou gonna be one of the greatest heavyweights. They keep on saying that, but dude, I swear to God, Cain Velasquez, that fight, I feel like Cain blew out his knee. Cain beat Cain Velasquez. Francis didn't beat Cain Velasquez. But then you had Junior Dos Anjos fought him. Junior tripped going in, and Francis capitalized on it and knocked him out. So it was another one of those he capitalized on a shitty situation.
Yeah.
And then Curtis Blades, that fight, the Curtis Blades match. That ref called that way too soon. Curtis was not out, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I feel like I feel like if they would ever let that fight go the distance, like, just wait until somebody goes lights out, which I know is a shitty way to do it, but, like, I feel like Curtis Blades could beat Francis.
I feel like honestly,
Blades is a better fighter.
Yeah. I feel like, honestly, though, ever since that boxer just died recently from the head injury,
they're probably going to start
extremely strict on how they do fights now. Like, somebody gets tagged and they're just on them.
Yeah.
Like, all right, it's over.
Yeah. But, they're... And then...
Paul Felder.
Dude, holy shit. That was such a close fight, though, man. Like, he won it by decision, but...
He said it could have went either way.
Could have.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, like, Paul looked rough. Paul, like, didn't wear it as well. He didn't wear his strike as well. But he definitely, I think he landed more takedowns. And let's see if it's actually got, like, the stats on here.
They said it was hot out there, so...
Yeah, can you imagine, dude? Like, it's 100-plus degrees out there. So, yeah. I mean, significant strikes. Paul Felder outstruck him 154 to 14. And, oh, shit, dude. So, Paul Felder actually attempted 154, only landed 56. And Barboza went for 114 and landed 60. So, he landed more and struck, like, almost half as much. I mean, that's insane. And then takedown attempts. Dude, what the shit? I didn't notice that either. So Barboza actually went for 3 takedowns and landed 1. Paul Felder went for 2 and landed 0. I remember Felder being on top more, but...
They must not have counted them as a takedown or something.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, who gets that point then? Is it just like, oh, they both fell?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works. But, dude, Felder definitely didn't wear it well. Barboza, I guess just, like, and this has nothing to do with, like, race or anything like that, but, like, dude, if you, like, white guys, we will freaking swell up. You punch us in the eye, it's going to show.
Yeah,
like,
Paul Felder's, like, the whitest of white. He's, like, Irish pale.
He's see-through, man, so if that blood comes to the surface, you're going to see that shit. Yeah. And, like, the darker skin tone you are, the less it's going to show. So, like, dude, but Felder, like, I don't know what this bruise is going to look like, but behind his ear looked like freaking cauliflower. But it was, like, behind his ear on his head back there. It looked so rough, dude. Barboza caught him, and both dudes were bleeding, like, a shitload. It was nuts. It was a war, man. But, so I thought that was really good, like co-main event. That was pretty good. But, the Islam versus, Hamos... I don't know. I thought it was Ramos, but apparently where they're from, it's pronounced Hamos. That, I thought, was freaking ridiculous, man. Like, in total strikes, there was hardly anything, man. There was, like, a total of, like, 150 strikes thrown between the two of them, the whole fight.
Yeah,
it was just a boring fight, man. And, I don't know, but they ended up giving that to Islam. Kind of crazy. And then the Curtis Blades fight, TKO, he fucking rocked that dude. Curtis Blades is a monster, man.
Yeah.
He threw an elbow. He gets
better every time I see Curtis Blades fight, he gets better.
I think that, for me at least, that would be the fight to make with Stipe. I would like to see Curtis Blades and Stipe. Because, like, have they ever fought?
I don't know.
I know that he fought Francis, and I know that everybody's wanting him to fight Francis
I feel like that's going to happen. I feel like they're going to make that fight happen.
They just want to see a Francis Ngannou champ. That's all it is, dude. He beat him, and it wasn't even like one of those. It was a close fight.
I honestly believe it's going to go the same way. I don't think that Francis has trained any kind of wrestling. I don't think he's trained any kind of wrestling defense.
Even if he has, though, it takes like time to accumulate the techniques and the skills, and like to know what to do in the situation. You know?
And I think it's going to go the same way that it went last time.
It was a grueling fight, dude. Like, for me, that fight was one of those that, like, I'm twitching the whole time, like, really tense and stuff, because I was like, shit.
And apparently, everybody that fought Stipe after that fight didn't watch the Stipe fight.
Yeah.
Because none of them try to wrestle him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, did you see what Stipe did to him? Do that a little bit, and then throw in some striking, and you'll probably have some success.
Yeah.
Don't go in there guns blazing thinking you're going to knock this guy out whenever he has, like, bazookas for arms. Like, come on.
Yeah. I want to see what happens. Like, I want to see how he takes a hard punch. Because I honestly don't feel like... I feel like everybody's so scared of him. That's why, like, the Curtis Blades fight, they were actually going for a while. Curtis took a couple of shots from Francis,
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't know if he fell or what ended up happening. I'm gonna have to rewatch that fight, but I feel like Curtis was not by any means incoherent or unable to defend himself before the ref stepped in.
Yeah, I believe
It
that.
was that Goddard guy. I like
Oh,
him.
Mark Goddard.
And sometimes he makes shitty calls, man. But-
And the new women's strawweight champ.
yeah, dude. I was gonna say something about her. She is freaking.
I like her.
She's bad as hell, dude.
Her fights before that, I was like, this girl's good.
Yeah, she is.
What's her name?
Let's
Can't
see here.
remember. I know it's like
She, oh, fuck, no. Oh, what have I done? Oh, God. What do you want? Boop. No, it wasn't even on a pay-per-view, was it? Shit, what's her name? Women's strawweight.
I feel like it's Zhang.
Yeah,
Li.
oh, shit. Oh, wait, what? Carlos? Hold up. Rankings. But I feel like, dude, did you see that face-off with her and Henry Ceruto?
Yeah. God, I hate that guy.
Look, let's just say this though, dude. I don't like him either, but if he beats her up, he is the greatest fighter of all time. And speaking of which, he's got him as the flyweight and bantamweight champ there.
Oh, God.
So stupid.
I know that Dominic Cruz is hunting him down. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
Like, just about every single post he's made on Instagram lately has been a jab at Henry Cejudo.
Well, the thing is,
And he's
Henry
hunting
Ceruto keeps talking shit to him, but it's like, dude, yeah, Zhang, I don't know,
Wele?
Wele?
Something like that.
Sounds about right, dude.
Either way, she is awesome.
She's a fucking
And
monster,
I
dude.
love that her biggest inspiration for fighting was Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Because she's similar
Mm-hmm.
in some aspects, but her striking is 1,000 times better, obviously.
So if she
And
can mix those two styles, that's
she's a
huge.
big, strong strawweight, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the fact that she just annihilated Jessica Andrade. Because I did not like Jessica Andrade.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. I honestly felt like whenever she fought Rose, I was like, who the fuck? Why is Rose fighting this chick?
Yeah, she's a straight brawler. Her technique's not good.
Mhm.
All she relies on is straight power.
Yeah.
And she goes in there head first and throws everything she can and hopes that she lands a punch.
Mhm.
I didn't like her. I mean, Rose before that finish was just killing her.
Yeah, destroying her.
Killing
Like a
her.
whole round and a half and then got picked up like that. So, I don't know.
So
man.
yeah, I'm so glad that she's the first Chinese champion.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's really, I mean, it's awesome that she's the champion and it's a woman.
Yeah, and it's
So-
kind of crazy because Dana White even said, he was like, look, it's a numbers game. He was like, there's how many, I can't remember how many billion people live in China, but he was like, there has to be better fighters in your nation. You know, we just have to find them.
Yeah.
But he was like, I'm stoked for this, that first one.
Heck yeah.
Freaking huge, man. And I mean, I don't know.
I think she's going to be champ for a long time, especially if Rose isn't going to fight anymore.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to be able to beat her, man. I mean, like, honestly, in that division, like the strawweight, it's like Rose. Joanna's not the same. So it's
Yeah.
like Rose, honestly. Unless the flyweight and strawweight, Valentina versus her,
That would be crazy.
that would be insane. But I don't know, man. And
I don't
two,
know. I think Valentina's just way too big for her.
do you think, oh, they already fought, didn't they? Didn't Valentina and Amanda Nunes fight? And it went like decision or some shit?
Yeah.
That was a horrible call on the refs. But, fuck, man. I'm telling you, right now it sucks for the UFC because, like, each champ is just a shit champ. I'm like, I freaking hate it. Amanda Nunes and freaking Henry Ceruto. Those are the only two, and I swear they're, like, my least favorite of anything.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Amanda Nunes has done amazing things.
Yeah.
But
like beating Holly Holm, beating all these people that she's beating, I think that's huge.
she beat up a washed-up Ronda Rousey, so
Mhm.
I don't really consider that a huge feather in her cap.
Yeah, it's like her jaw, I do not think was fixed by the time she fought that fight, and you can see it after the first hit that she took in that jaw.
And on top of that,
slack-jawed.
like, Ronda Rousey's coaches are dumbasses.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. But either way,
The champs need to be dethroned, both of them, man. That's
Yeah.
all I'm getting at here.
freaking Dominic Cruz, just go out there and take your belt back.
Still
It's
back,
not
man.
Cejudo's.
I know,
It's
Cejudo
not
is
his.
not like, Jesus, and everybody keeps on throwing out that he's the greatest of all time. Dude,
Not at
you
all.
beat a Demetrius Johnson that was rigged. That shit was rigged. I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Okay? Going back to some freaking conspiracy theories, and that fight was rigged. Because if you watch any of Demetrius Johnson's 1FC fights, he is fucking destroying people.
Yeah.
In 1FC, that's like his division is their big weight class there. Like, that is huge.
1FC is no joke. I mean,
No.
I mean, like, you saw it happen to Sage Northcutt.
Yeah.
And you saw it happen to freaking Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah, and then
Both of their first fights, they got laid out.
destroyed, man. I mean, holy shit! Like, I've never seen somebody get so hurt like Sage Northcutt.
Sage Northcutt is never going to be the same.
No,
Ever.
No, he's not, man. And I mean, that just speaks volumes, dude. Demetrius Johnson is a fucking boss, and the fact that he lost to Henry Cejudo, I don't know. I feel like the judging was horrible, and they knew that he was going out.
Cejudo is on steroids, clearly.
Probably, yeah, man, yeah.
Because
God, he's such a
he
tool.
can't, like, before that Demetrius Johnson fight, he was not that great.
No.
Before that fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes in there, and then, like, they have their fight, and then right after that, he's, like, annihilating people. Just, like, shutting them down. Like, strength.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, he's doing something.
Something's going on with him. But, yeah, I don't know, man.
You can see in the degrading of his personality as time goes on.
Yeah.
He's just slowly losing his mind.
Is, dude. My God. It's horrible.
So, I mean, clearly, he's doing something.
Mm-hmm. Well, dude, I don't know, but there's going to be some really good fights. And then also, I think this, so by the time this comes out, it will be last weekend. But Donald Cerrone and Justin Gaethje are fighting Saturday.
That's crazy.
That's going to be a really good fight. I mean, Cerrone has been on his hair except for this last fight with Ferguson, but it's Tony fucking Ferguson.
And that fight kind of ended really
Yeah, blew his nose and his eyes blew out.
Basically.
He blew out his own eyeballs.
I mean, it was instantaneously. They, like, showed it on the replay. Like he blew his nose, and he looked up, and his eye was like, and he was, like, trying to open it, and he was like, no, you know.
What happened to the good old days when you could just slice their eye open, man? Cut me, man.
Cut me.
Dude, why don't they do that anymore? They let it up. They freaking built it up.
You know, honestly, if that was an option for Cerrone, he would have done it.
Yeah, hell yeah, he would.
He would have done it and kept fighting right then.
And the bad thing is like him being on that tear that he was on, and then losing that fight, and then that fashion, it just totally takes the wins out of his sails.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm hoping with this Justin Gaethje fight, that like he could fight this. If he wins, I bet you, dude, if he wins, and then he might be able to fight Conor. That might be a setup for that. Or
I would love to see that fight.
Me too. Or if Ferguson beats Khabib, they might try to do that rematch for Conor. But I think either one of those two are a viable option for Conor in his next fight. I think like him versus Cerrone would be good. I don't think him versus Justin Gaethje would be that great of a like.
No, he would put him. He would put him down.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen Dustin Poirier put down Justin Gaethje. You know, like all you have to do is knee him in the face. You just gotta hit him. You gotta hit him with something harder than punches to his face, and you got him. Yeah. Because he just walks in there. Like, I feel like Donald Cerrone is gonna. It's gonna be one of those moments where Donald Cerrone shows his awesome combinations. Yeah. And he's gonna catch him with a switch kick to the head, and then he's gonna put him down. Mm-hmm. But yeah, freaking. They had that interview with Ariel Helwani that Conor did. Remember?
Yeah, it was a good interview, man. I thought it was a good interview. Yeah, really good for Conor.
And he talked about he asked him if he was planning on fighting. And he said by the end of the year. Yeah. So hopefully, whatever happens with this Justin Gaethje fight, he'll get the winner of that.
That's why I think that they did that fight so quick. To be honest, because like Cowboy posted on his thing like, "Hey, I've got this fight." And he was like, it's super quick, but it will be worth it. He said something along those lines on his Instagram, but it was like, I know it's a quick turnaround, but it's going to be worth it, or something like that. And I think that's why it's going down like that.
Yeah, I hope so. I really, really hope so, because I don't think that Khabib would even agree to a rematch anyways with Conor. Yeah. Like, there's no point in it.
I think if he loses his title, then maybe.
Yeah, there's no reason for Khabib to fight Conor ever until Conor proves himself a little more.
Yeah. But I think that would be a good fight. The Cerrone and Conor fight, if that ended up happening.
That's a sell.
Yeah, it's
like
huge,
anybody who's a fight fan would want to see that fight.
Yeah,
hands down.
Mm-hmm. But man, I don't know. We could go through the whole freaking rankings. I've got some shit to say about everybody.
The only other one that I want to bring up is Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal.
Holy shit,
that's going to be nuts.
They call it a BMF belt. They're gonna call it the BMF belt and give it to him as a title fight now because it's like the main event. Bad motherfucker.
Dude, that's awesome. Like, the way that Nate Diaz called him out.
Perfect.
There was no better way to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Nate was actually smart enough to think that this was the way to call him out. It was just one of those things he said on the fly.
Yeah, right off the top,
it was
dude.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be an insane fight. I don't feel like it's going to be a quick knockout, and I kind of hope that it's just... Because how are you going to quick knock out Nate Diaz? The dude's got nothing for you to knock out.
That flying knee that Jorge Masvidal hit Ben Askren with would not knock out Nate Diaz.
No, Nate Diaz
he would... It might rock him, but he would still keep going.
He'll grapple you. He'll just grab you afterwards.
Yeah,
dude.
That's going to be a crazy fight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good fight, too, because they both have really good boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Jorge Masvidal has extremely good, fundamentals.
Mm.
And so does Nate Diaz. He's got that jab cross that he catches everyone with constantly.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really good fight.
I think it'd be cool. And do they have a date on that? November, right?
Yeah.
It's like November 4th or something like that. That's the main event on that card. Madison Square Garden.
That's a good fight.
It's gonna be crazy, man.
I love that matchup.
Yeah. And then, oh shit, I don't know, man. We could go off on UFC all day, but there's other stuff to go about. There's other stuff. I'm sorry. Oh God, Jesus Christ. Who put that there?
Explosion.
Dude, I swear, one of these days I'm just gonna, there's gonna be freaking explosive stuff on everything. You want one of these?
Yeah.
Freaking love these things, man. I get
freaking wintergreen.
I know. I swear.
I remember eating these when I was growing up. Dude, fun fact, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. The drive that I made a couple of drives back and forth to Virginia when I lived out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 10-hour drive if you're driving fast.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And it's just straight. Like, it's interstate the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, just straight interstate, and you're just like...
It's I-40 the whole time, isn't it?
Like, yeah. These kept me alive. Like, I'm serious. I would be driving... Like, I drove it straight. I didn't... Let me think. Drove up there. Back up. Back up. I drove it a lot.
Yeah.
At least 6 or 7 times. But, like, on the way down wasn't as bad, because, I'm like, I'm coming home.
Yeah.
Visit family, whatever. It was nice. But the way up, I'm just like, oh my god.
It's
like,
the worst.
I could have an energy drink at every gas stop. 5-hour energy, it didn't matter. My eyes are just still like going down.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a big pack of these in my glove box, and every time I started feeling like woozy, I would put one in my mouth and just be like, okay, roll the window down, smack myself in the face a little bit.
Yeah.
But yes, wintergreen lifesavers. They actually were lifesavers to me.
Save your freaking life.
If you're on a long drive, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Dude, one of my favorite driving home alone type things on a long drive. I was visiting my dad in Atlanta, and we had just done like an album for Bradbury. It's like our first ever like full length thing. We had like the actual album, and I had a whole box in my car, and I'm about to get on the interstate, and I've got like a 5-hour drive ahead of me. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna grab like 2 5-hour energy drinks. This little maximum strength freaking just baller 5-hour energy drinks. I'm gonna get those, some waters, and some sunflower seeds. I'm just gonna drive the whole way and listen to this album. Dude, I'll drink both of them before I even get on the interstate. Getting on the interstate. I'm driving like 85, freaking 90 miles an hour, and then I just come to standstill traffic. Not moving at all. And I was like, motherfucker.
That's the worst thing
there's like
ever.
a huge wreck in front of me. And this was before really everybody posted everything on the internet.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no idea what's going on. And like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I am like freaking red line hyper. I am just about to blow out of my skin. I've got this whole box of CDs. So I roll down my windows. It's like in the middle of fall. Roll my windows down. And I've got the music playing. And like everybody I pass has their window down. I'm like, hey, what are you listening to? And then they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, what are you listening to? And they'd be like, tell me something. And I'm like, well, listen to this. And I like throw my album into their car window.
Oh my god.
And they'd be like, this is my band, listen to it. And then they'd be like, oh, thanks. And I probably passed out like 20, 30 albums.
Oh my god, dude, that's freaking
hilarious.
awesome.
It was pretty good.
And terrible at the same time.
I know. And now thinking about it, I'm not that coordinated, so I'm surprised I didn't like throw it and smash it into their car and like shatter it all over their car or something. But it made it into their window.
Right in the face. Like,
I try to pull off, I just like rear end the guy in front of me. Dude, but yeah, that was a good time. I'm telling you, man.
yeah, driving is no joke.
It's tough shit.
Like,
I hate it.
It's like work. Mm-hmm. Seriously, like if you've ever been on long drives and you're driving the whole way and you're by yourself, especially,
yeah,
it's awful. 10 hours. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it sucks, dude.
Like, when's the last time that you've ever spent 10 hours doing anything straight?
Never.
You know,
even
like
working,
like
stop
being in the theater
around.
watching a movie after 2 hours, you get out and you're like, oh, I'm ready to go home. You know?
Yeah.
10 hours, dude.
Forget it. It's not
crazy.
fun. But swapping it. Some video games coming out. I'm pretty fucking stoked.
It's fall.
So I'm staying inside.
It's about to be fall.
Mm-hmm.
It's prime time for video games.
Yeah.
Usually happens around this time. There's an independent game out right now. Just came out today called Blasphemous.
It looks so fucking cool.
You can get it on anything. It's on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, everything.
Nice.
They did it right. But it's like I think it's only like $22.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's not bad.
side scroll, it's like, I'm probably going to get it today, because like I've been waiting for this game for like a few years.
It reminds me of Salt and Sanctuary, kind of, a little bit, but like different graphics.
It's like 2D Metroidvania, kind of like Dark Souls-ish. Very dark, gory.
Very dark and gory.
It's got the Spanish Inquisition kind of background. So it's going to be awesome. But yeah, there's that. Cool. That came out today. Borderlands 3 comes out Friday. I'm going to pre-order that right after this podcast.
Nice. There you go.
So I'm extremely excited for that one. I've been waiting for Borderlands 3 for like, I mean,
They've been
good
talking
God.
about it for forever now.
Like, I think Borderlands 2 came out like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, well, they said that the reason it's taken so long is because they're trying to think of another classic, like, cover for some way for you to shoot yourself. Like, some really cool way for you to shoot yourself with 3 things. Because the first one was just right over his head. And then, yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Like, I'm stoked. I've been following it. I already have the character I want to play. It's the Beastmaster guy, Flack.
Yeah.
I'm all about that shit.
That'd be cool, man.
Like, in any game, if you can have a pet,
it's always good times.
Like Necromancer.
Like you don't have to do stuff.
Like Necromancer and Diablo.
Yeah. That
was the first character I made in Diablo 2. And whenever they came out with the Necromancer DLC for Diablo 3, I was just like,
yeah. See, I'm more of like a heavy striker dude. Like, I love the Barbarian in Diablo 3. That's kind of like my character. I freaking love that dude.
I started loving the Barbarian too.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like him that much in the beginning because Diablo 3 sucked when it first came out.
Yeah.
But later on it got better. And the Barbarian, it's just really cool to, like, when you do stuff with the Barbarian, just the enemies just like explode and like fly all over the place. And you feel really strong.
Yeah.
Like whenever you jump and slam or like you smash the ground and they're just like
There's no telling how many times I'll go up to somewhere like somebody's like surrounded, just getting swarmed by somebody, and I'm like, bam! And just like blows up the whole earth. Everybody dies but my friend. And then I'm like, yes!
Yep.
It's pretty awesome. Dude's still fucking hot in here. Come on, fall! But
then we're gonna be up in here like,
it's so fucking cold in here. Come on, summer.
Dude, bring in some of that pallet wood and let's start a fire in the floor.
Yeah.
There's an actual bonfire on the table.
Dude, we'll do it. I don't even care. Smoke inhalation, what? That's how we're going down? That's what we'll do. Dude, but also, Final Fantasy VIII Remake came out last Tuesday, and that's so fun. I freaking love that game, dude. I forgot how much I liked that story.
Yeah, that, like, I didn't I didn't get into Final Fantasy VII because I think when that one came out, I didn't have a PlayStation yet, and the only access to a PlayStation I had was Willie, and like anytime we would rent anything, it would be stuff like Resident Evil or stuff like that, because you can't really do the multiplayer thing with Final Fantasy because it's kind of boring to watch. So I didn't really get involved with Final Fantasy VII, but when I did get a PlayStation, Final Fantasy VIII was out, and I think Willie had just beat it, and he let me borrow it, and I went through it. And that was like my first main foray into Final Fantasy, and I love that game. It was so good. I liked the story, I liked the characters, the summons were so good.
And the fact that like the fighting system, like you could draw magic from your opponents and like store it and then use it against them and stuff. That's really cool. And dude, like I think about this, you just said renting games. And so whenever I played Final Fantasy VII, there was a mall, but it was like freaking 60 miles from us. So it was like an hour and a half trip for us to go to the mall, right? So it wasn't something that we did all the time.
That's like my life. Yeah.
So, dude, so we're like...
it was Clarksville for me.
Yeah.
Because I was out in Waverly, so Clarksville was just south.
Straight up 13
north.
or whatever. Yeah. But like, so, to go buy a new game, that's pretty much what you had to do. Because like online buying stuff wasn't really that popular. And everybody's like, I'm not giving them my credit card online. What? But
yeah, and then freaking Walmart, barely started selling games at that point.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't such thing as a super Walmart for a long time.
They had like shit Walmart. I don't even remember what was in the regular Walmart. It's like there was a small toy aisle or something like that, and then like food. And like home appliance
there
stuff.
was no
regular Walmart, man.
There was no electronics.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember when they started getting electronics, I was like, yeah.
Dude, they didn't have a super Walmart in Waverly until I was in high school.
Yeah.
Like, the closest one to Waverly was Dixon.
Dude, yes, that's same here. But, dude, like... So,
showing our age.
I know, I don't even care, though, man. It's like a freaking badge of honor. We went through the... Dude, those were the dark ages.
That was the shit. We went through the shit.
It's like we're, like, in a weird transitional period where, like... We know all these things, like my parents, like my mom the other day called me and she was like, I'm about to throw my phone out of my window. I don't know how to use these things. Like, I'm tech savvy as shit, but I didn't grow up with it. And there's like so many, like, the people that grew up right after us are like, maybe not as tech savvy as we are because we like had to learn the hard way. And like, they've been like growing up with iPhones. Dude, I remember being in a band, in another band, a guy had an iPhone. And he was like, yeah, you gotta get this. Pretty good. And I was like, that ain't shit. And I had a flip phone. Like, I mean, when we text back in the day, it was that you had to press the button. Yeah. You had to press the same button multiple times to get a certain letter. Yeah. And dude, so, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I feel like we are, like, a more, like, trial by fire type, and we like understand the technology and stuff, but it's because we had to learn it, you know, like kind of I was raised with it, so like how it is now, I'm cool with it, and I can tell you why.
If you had a problem with your phone or what you were doing, you couldn't Google it. Yeah. There was no internet. On these phones. And freaking dial up and shit. But dude, going back to this really quick. Okay, so Final Fantasy VII. Freaking, I remember I got that game, but I rented it from this thing called like, it's like Bobby's Movies or somebody. It was like a dude's name, and he was like a weird pervert, but he had a movie rental place in Loboville. I can't remember what the dude's name was, but it was like a movie rental place. So there's like a tanning bed in the back. I remember that place. I can't remember what his name was. It's like somebody's rentals, but he had like a tanning bed in the back and like little concessions up at his counter, and then there was like movies, and in the back row there was like just a single row, like maybe as wide as this table, of just a shelf with video games. So there's like PlayStation games, Nintendo, and then like Sega games. So like, but I'm thinking about this, right? So I rented Final Fantasy VII, and I think I had it for like 20 days, dude. So like, my parents hated me because like that cost fucking like back in the day, that was probably like $200. And late fees add up. Yeah, hell yeah, they do. So I had that for forever, and but now I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, dude, what are the chances? Because like now we're like so populated. If there was a rental place in Dixon, and I'm pretty sure he only had like one copy of it, you know what I mean?
So, like, you had one copy of Final Fantasy VII. Just the fate of, like, I had the gods smiling on me that day, and they were like, here you go, John, Final Fantasy VII.
There were kids that came in after you rented that game looking for it, and they couldn't find it for, like, 3 weeks
And that
because you
ruined their
kept
life,
it.
man. Yeah.
Yep.
Changed the course of their life.
Man, those are some rough times, I swear.
They were, man.
Because when we were in school, the weekend was the only chance you got to rent a game. And to play it. Because obviously we didn't have cars, and obviously our parents weren't nice enough to be like, hey, let's go rent a game during the week. It just didn't happen. Yeah. Because you got that extra day on the weekend. Because, it was like a 2-day rental. You didn't have to turn it in until Monday or some shit. So if you went to the rental or to the store to rent something and they didn't have the game you wanted,
you just out of luck, dude.
You were screwed that entire weekend. Like, fully.
What are you going to do now? You're going to go create something crazy and break a leg or something. That's what you're going to do.
There's a point in time where there was 2 different video stores in Waverly.
What the fuck? You guys were, like, high living there. There
was Express Video and the Video Shop.
I bet those 2 people, like, hated each other with a sick passion.
I'm sure they were rivals, like, clearly.
Trying to, like, cut each other's brake lines and shit.
But I would always try and get my mom to go to Express. And that's where they mainly went. So that usually worked. But if I didn't find a game there, I would beg. I would be like, Mom, please, let's go to the video shop.
I'll do whatever you want.
Please. And 9 times out of 10, it didn't work. But sometimes it would work.
Yeah.
And I would maybe find something.
Nice.
But still, rough times, for real.
Hard times, dude.
I remember trying to beat Mega Man X when it first came out for Super Nintendo. And I rented it, and I was like, and I was playing it, and it's a tough freaking game. Yeah. And then not beating it that weekend and going back the next weekend, like, yeah, I've got this. And it was gone. Because it was rented out.
Yeah. Sons of bitches. Yeah. Dude, and I'll tell you something else, okay? I know this has kind of been an all over the place podcast, but fucking buckle up, people. So, like, okay.
Isn't all of our podcasts, though?
pretty much. Dude, okay. Whenever I was a kid, and I was, like, in elementary school, middle school, even in high school, I was, like, diagnosed with ADHD, right? They were like, oh, he's too hyperactive.
That came out a little bit after, like, because I'm a little older. So that came out when my sister was growing up, and she was diagnosed with it. Yeah. She had to take medicine.
Dude, I was like,
I'm pretty sure I had it.
School.
It just I was too far ahead.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the thing is this, dude. I feel like they kind of, like, manufactured this disease, ADHD. I feel like there's just people that are a little bit hyper, and there's people that aren't as hyper. But, like, dude, I was watching this thing the other day, and it was talking about, like, kids that have ADHD and stuff. I feel like the reason I got on this topic is because I'm thinking about my daughters, right? Like, if they have a new video game and it's hard, guess what they're going to do? Fuck this, I can't play it. Nope. And then go figure out something else. Go do something else. Go watch YouTube or something like that.
Right.
So, like, not try to beat the game. But, like, us, we were like, dude, whenever we were kids, if that game's hard, it sucks. Because you got to freaking deal with that. Yeah. And like you said, you got the whole fucking weekend. You in this game. You're going to have to learn how to like each other. Because guess what? You got it for the weekend. And if you don't, you're freaking screwed.
There's no YouTube. There's no Netflix. There's no Google.
What are you going to do? You can't go beat off. Because guess what? There's no freaking dial-up internet. What are you going to look at? And so,
there's no internet for the longest time as well.
So there you have it. You are stuck here with this game, and you've got to learn how to overcome it. And so the reason I bring up the ADHD is I feel like it's just like parents' way of trying to identify why these kids can't see things the same way that, like, they do. And, like, so with me, like, whenever I was growing up, dude, I was all over the place. So hyper and shit. They put me in, like, so ADHD means you can't really focus on things. You're very hyper, can't focus on stuff for a long period of time. Through our podcast, you've probably realized that we do have a hard time focusing on shit, but are staying on topic. But I will say this, man, I get obsessive with stuff. Like,
honestly, the more that I live my life and the more that I deal with what goes on in my head and how hyperactive it can be sometimes and just and crazy stuff. Yeah. I feel like it might be a type of autism.
Could be.
Because the autism spectrum is huge.
Yeah.
Like, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And you could be on... I mean, there's some very high-functioning people that actually...
Yeah, autistic.
that live normal, semi-normal lives and are on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different types of it. And I feel like... I mean, I might be on the spectrum.
You never know, man.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, autism is like it's a thing that makes your brain hyperactive.
Mm-hmm.
Or
maybe that's what it is, dude. I don't know.
Like, I don't know if it goes to a slower thing.
I don't know.
But I know it's hyperactive. And there's a lot of...
Yeah. But, like, you know, anytime that they say, like, and I feel like I've heard a lot of people use, like, oh, I'm ADHD as, like, a cop-out for why they can't do something. Like, I can't learn this because I'm ADHD. I can't do this. But, dude, like, I feel like it's one of those things that, like, you just have to find a passion for it. Because whenever I first started playing guitar, I sucked shit, but I got obsessed with playing guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can play guitar fairly decent. And, like, anything in life that I've, like, pursued like that, like, skateboarding, got obsessed with it, freaking just random stuff. And so I don't know, man. I feel like some of this stuff, like ADHD, I feel like it's somewhat over exaggerated and definitely overdiagnosed. I feel like they're like your kid's just hyper.
Especially when it first came out.
Yeah. And then too, I've heard this other thing about people saying that, like, people that were diagnosed and treated for ADHD, pretty much they gave kids speed, Adderall, which is going at speed, and I was on that, and they're pretty much talking about how, like, that has now fueled this huge energy drink, just explosion of people wanting energy drinks and stuff, because once you get off of Adderall, you're still somewhat addicted to that need of, like, caffeine and energy and stuff, and it makes sense, man. I drink energy drinks all the time. I know I shouldn't do it, but I do it a lot. And, like, it's, like, probably an addiction. I don't know, man. Maybe it is. But I was on Adderall.
I was never on Adderall. I think my sister might have been. I don't know.
Ritalin and then Adderall.
Yeah, I feel like that's how it was with her. Because I think that's how it progressed.
Yeah.
They gave you that first. And then they're like, oh, here's this new thing.
Well, like, the Ritalin or whatever, like, made my stomach hurt or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to take it twice a day. And then Adderall was like a 24-hour thing, and they were like, take it with food. So, like, I was in middle school at the time, and like, they were like, you gotta take this with food, and you gotta take it at this time. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is like in the middle of class. So, like, they had to pull me out of class so I could go to the snack machine and get, like, drinks and then and chips and shit, and then come back and, like, eat chips and drink and stuff. And everybody in the class like, and I'm, like, over there, like, eating Gardados and freaking drinking Mountain Dew and taking some Adderall. So I'm, like, dropping some speed, drinking some Mountain Dew and eating some chips, and everybody's like, I hate that kid. And I'm like,
dude, that's like everybody in college right now.
Yeah, but it was prescribed to me, dude. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. But yes, I feel like, going back to that, gaming right now is about to blow up, dude. There's so much cool stuff about that.
It's a great time for gaming. Death Stranding comes out in November. That game is nuts. I don't even know fully what it's about.
I don't think anybody does. I don't even think the maker of the game's like, alright, this is legit.
Hideo Kojima, he said it's a new genre of video games.
I freaking love that guy.
And he's created new genres of video games just about every time he makes one.
Yeah, so you definitely know what to do.
With Metal Gear Solid, it was tactical espionage action. That's what he classified it as. And it lived up to that name. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 5. Open world.
That was insane.
Tactical stealth. Crazy base building. Crazy... It was nuts and awesome. Yeah. And I love freaking Hideo Kojima. And this game is probably going to be insanely good.
Yeah. I can see it, man. And a game that came out a while ago, but really flew under the radar, and I'd be surprised if a lot of people have heard of it, but it's called The Sinking City. Freaking amazing game. It's an open world, like, detective RPG, and it's pretty awesome, dude. It's an amazing game. Well, I wouldn't say it's an RPG, I'm sorry. Take that back. It's kind of like a first-person shooter type style, or a shooter, like an open world shooter. I don't know.
First person or third person?
Third person, sorry. Third person. It's awesome, though, dude. Definitely check it out if you're a fan of, like, games like L.A. Noire, but with a little bit more action, and games like, anything of H.P. Lovecraft inspired games. It's freaking awesome. But I just beat that, and I think I platinumed it. I don't remember. I know I got all the endings. I'm pretty sure I platinumed it just then.
Nice.
I don't know. I freaking love that game, though.
Yeah. And then, I mean, freaking next year is going to be the year of the new consoles, probably.
Yeah.
Like next Christmas.
That's going to be insane, man.
I believe PlayStation 5 is going to be out by next Christmas.
Well, I think, yeah, PlayStation and Xbox really go hand in hand with, like, their new releases. And then next year, Nintendo comes out and he's like, all right, I'm just gonna smash up what y'all are doing.
Well, yeah, like, Nintendo has to release...
They got their own thing, though.
They have to release 3 of the same system before they release a new one, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have, like, the Switch right now.
Switch Lite?
Yeah, the Switch Lite just came out, which is, basically half a Switch.
It's like a handheld Switch. It's like an upgraded, like, Nintendo DS.
Yeah, and you can't dock it.
Yeah. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
Nick was gonna get one, and I was like, dude, spend the extra money, just get a full-on Switch.
Yeah,
so I did.
Yeah. And then after that, they'll release like the 4K version of the Switch, probably like the Switch Ultra or some shit.
Switch Pro.
Yeah, and then they'll finally after that release a new console.
Yeah,
I love Nintendo and I love their games and stuff, but they're like the most money hungry company.
Yeah, well, like you said, they're kind of like the Apple of gaming.
Yeah. Only their stuff works with their stuff, and nothing is compatible with anything else. They have cartridges for crap's sake.
Yeah.
So
I will say this though, man. I do love the fact that they're on cartridges because I hate loading games. It sucks so much nuts.
Yeah.
Like they have with the Switch, you can like download the extra downloadable content. Like they have patches and stuff like that you can if you get the game late, you can download those patches, and that will take a little bit of time. But, like, the other day, we got a Haven Sims 4, which has been out for forever. But it's got all the expansions and all that stuff for Xbox. We bought it for the Xbox. And, dude, that game took, like, 2 hours for them to be able to play it. Because it was, like, plug it in, and then it's downloading everything. I'm like, my God, what? There's got to be a better way. That's horrible.
A lot of places nowadays, though, they do the free downloads, where, like, it's kind of only if you order it through, like, the stores. Like, if you order... Like, if I pre-ordered Borderlands 3 on the PlayStation Store...
they'll preload it on...
Yeah, the night before you get the preload, I think. And then so whenever it releases, you can just start playing right then.
That's freaking awesome. That's a really good idea.
But, like, if I like a game enough, I want a physical copy. Some games I don't care, whatever. But for Borderlands 3, I want to get the physical copy, so...
Yeah, they need to do something. I think GameStop needs to work this up somehow, but maybe have like it
when you pre-order,
you get a downloadable.
You get a code. Yeah, I think that they need to do that. But GameStop's about to be changing soon.
I'm really excited to see what they do. Confused about what I've heard. It's like they've said that it's going to be like a gamer's place where you can do like gaming.
Yeah, like competitions and I mean.
That'd be cool, I guess.
If they can do it, if they can pull it off, I think it's a good idea. Because there's not, I mean, aside from like mom and pop places, there's not really anywhere else that does that.
Yeah, like here in Dixon, there's a place called the Gamer's Edge or something like that. But I really honestly haven't. Is it cool? Is it good?
I mean, I honestly thought that it was a place where you could go and you could, buy stuff, buy games or whatever. But it's more like you can go there and you can play stuff.
But do they have like all the systems and stuff? You just go play their systems?
They have like a bunch of TVs lined up and all that. And
how does it work? Do you pay them to play their stuff? How do they make money? I wonder.
I don't know. I didn't.
What are you doing, Gamer's Edge?
I didn't ask them.
That's kind of wild.
But I was looking for a Super Nintendo to buy because mine like crapped out. But I ended up just getting the SNES Mini.
Dude, I freaking love that thing.
So,
hell yeah. Well, dude, I know that there was something you were telling me about with that you found on Twitter recently that you wanted to tell me, and it's hot as fuck, man.
Yeah, it is like super
hot.
Let me see how. I don't know when this was, but I saw it online, and it was Popeye's employees held at gunpoint over sold-out chicken sandwiches. And this was in Houston, so I'm guessing that's Houston, Texas.
That is amazing.
And it said, a man pulled a gun on employees at a Popeye's restaurant because they had run out of chicken sandwiches. Reporters said employees were able to lock the alleged offenders outside.
Wait, so they had him at gunpoint, but just like locked him out of the store?
I'm guessing he was at the window, maybe?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
Oh my god, man.
But,
dude,
like...
That kind of...
I mean, I sympathize with the guy, because I've been to KFC before, and they're like, oh, we're out of crispy chicken. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You better batter some up, because I want that chicken in my mouth right now.
It
Like,
needs to be in the body.
I've been that mad before.
Well, whenever Arby's let go of the loaded potato bites, I still to this day scream in my sleep awake. I'd scare everyone in my house dreaming about those loaded potatoes.
What, they ran out or something?
They just stopped making them, dude.
Oh.
Dude, they were like fried little
I think
potato
I know what you're
things
talking
with
about.
cheese and bacon in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, why does
And
that
little
happen?
sour cream dips. I don't know.
Why do places stop selling things that are so awesome?
Well, Adolf Hitler, I'm pretty sure, owns Arby's.
No. From the grave.
From the grave.
Dude, no, there was this one thing that I loved. I won't say growing up, because it came out after I was a little older. I was still like in freaking, probably barely in high school. But they were called Half Pops. And they came in this can, like a Planters peanut kind of thing. And it was, you know, whenever you make a bag of popcorn and the kernels, there's some that are like
There's a
barely.
thing of that?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I don't know anymore. But the ones that are at the bottom and they're barely popped,
Yeah.
and they're like, you look for them. You're like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
They taste so good.
There was a thing of that existed?
Yes, and they were called Half Pops, and it came in a container, and all it was
Just half
half-popped kernels, and they had different flavors. There was butter, like a barbecue type, and I think like sour cream and onion or something like that. Dude, I swear, they were some of the best things I've ever ate in my life. I remember eating a whole container one time, and my parents were pissed because they didn't get any.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely do that, dude.
But
I always scour the bags.
And then all of a sudden they were gone. Nowhere, just disappeared.
Just as quickly as they came into your life.
I remember having them like maybe 3 times in my life, and they were just phenomenal. And you could never find them again.
That sucks ass, dude.
But they're so good. Like, who doesn't love those things?
I know, yeah. Dude, well, never mind, I can't tell it. Yeah, fuck it. I thought about saying it, so I'm gonna say it. Dude, the other day I gave Jody one of those, and she fucking broke a crown or something like that. Broke one of her caps off of her teeth.
Oh.
But I was just like, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, she'll fucking love this. And I gave her one, and then she like ate it, and she was like, ah. And then like, it was like, I think a part of like her filling or something like that broke off. I think that's what it was.
Oh,
Just
dang.
filling or something.
That
It's
sucks.
like, wow. Ruined a good gesture.
Yeah.
Dude, so I figured maybe we could do this, okay? So like, alright, here we go. Across the world, here we go. Top stories across the world. No, fuck. That's way too real.
You'll probably get like some
Just political. Alright, here we go. Well, dude, that Hong Kong shit's pretty crazy. Everything's so political.
Yeah, like Trump just like fired somebody off of his cabinet or some shit, and then like
Hong Kong protesters boo Chinese anthem as the leader warns against interference. Dude, I'm telling you, shit in China is getting crazy.
It really is, though. I saw one today, and it's more of a serious subject, I guess, but it was, I think today is like World Suicide Prevention Day or something, which, that's just suicide is just terrible.
Yeah.
But a lot of people they don't talk about it because they're afraid of, I don't know, offending people or something. And they don't really know what to say, because if you've never had any of those moments in your life, it's hard to relate, I guess, to people who have had those moments. But I don't know, I feel like if I had to say anything about it, like, I mean, I've never, like, been, I don't think I've ever been suicidal. I've had suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of had like a...
Like, I hope that I just don't wake up in the morning. Like, stuff like that. Like, So it's not like I want to kill myself. It's just I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big difference there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like, I guess if I had to say anything about, you know, suicide prevention and stuff like that, is just, you know, if you have any problems yourself, or if you know anyone that is going through some, you know, shit, just talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, don't be judgmental towards them.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody has something in their life that's going on that they probably don't like.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's hard for you to say, get over it, when you have no idea what anyone's going through.
Yeah, and it might seem like a small deal to you at the time, but, like, it's, like, you know, it could be a lot of shit. And maybe they're just coming to you with, like, this one thing.
Just one little piece.
Yeah, and it's just an accumulation of little things that build up. And, like,
I think that's one of the things that get people down the most.
Mm-hmm. It's just one hit after the next.
Yeah, like everything builds up, and like what I've done with my life that has helped me out, because I get down a lot. I've suffered from depression and all that stuff. But like one thing that I've done that has helped me is, like, most of the time that I get down, it's because there's a mountain of things that is accumulated over me.
Yeah.
And instead of looking at it as a mountain, I take it apart piece by piece. So like if I have a bunch of problems going on, eventually I'll get to the point where I'm like, oh my God, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'll make a list of everything that's wrong. Like a whole list. And then day by day, I try to knock at least one of those things out on the list if I can.
Yeah.
And then
see what's manageable, and
by the time, you know, a couple weeks have gone by, you've knocked out a bunch of stuff on the list, and you just feel so much better. Even if you knock out one little thing, even if it's something stupid like cleaning out the toilet or something that's
like my bathroom smells bad or something like that.
Yeah, like something small can make you feel so much better when you mark it off of a list of a bunch of things.
Yeah. And, like, I've got a lot of people, like, a lot of my friends have anxiety problems, right? I've got anxiety problems, have panic attacks all the time, and, like, something that's helped me out a lot has been, like, running and fitness and stuff like that. But, like, I feel like just getting outside of yourself and just getting outside of the moment helps a lot of the times, too. But, like you said, man, one thing that causes me most of my stress and most anxiety is just having, like, that mountain of shit that's just, like, all this stuff's going wrong, and it starts off with one little thing, and it just builds up and builds up and builds up, and by the time you know it, like, you're freaking so weighed down with everything in your life, you're just like, well, you know, I don't know, and I can see how, like, somebody that's stressed out, maybe already has mental issues of some kind, not saying that it's wrong to have mental issues, everybody's got stuff, but I'm just saying, like, if you're like a little bit mentally weaker or whatever, and all this stuff's bearing down on you, I can see where they'd be like, oh, I'm just done, you know? And suicide would be an option to them, or a thing that they think, like, would help that stuff. But, dude, being on the other side of people that have committed suicide in my life, it does nothing. It is the worst possible choice that anybody, I think, can make. Like, for me, suicide, like, some people say religiously that's like the one sin you can't come back from. I don't really believe that to be true, because I know so many people that are like amazing people that have killed themselves. And for me, at least, like, and I don't care really what anybody says religiously, I just can't see a God that would be like, well, this amazing person that did so much good stuff in their life had a really, really, really hard go at things and decided to take their life, they're going to hell. Like, that's not cool. I don't think that's the truth.
Yeah.
And especially if you think about it like this, like, nah, fuck it. I don't want to go on a huge religious tear about suicide, but I just feel like, I don't know, man. On the other side of it, being a survivor of people that have committed suicide and, like, seeing it firsthand, how it fucks up people's lives, that is the worst option. And talking to people and fixing the small problems that are turned into a mountain is definitely the way to go.
Yes. And, like, the biggest thing about it is if there's anybody in your life that has mentioned anything to you about that, or has sort of came to you in any way, take them seriously.
Yeah.
Don't let it be one of those things where you're like, damn, I should have listened to them. Let it be one of those things where you listen to them now.
Yeah.
Like, because no matter what's going on in your life, you have the time to listen to someone if you really care about them.
Yeah.
And it's okay, like, a lot of people think that it's not okay to be sad, or it's not okay to be mad, or any of the emotions that humans feel that people judge as, like, a detriment to the norm. Like, people, I mean, even in my life, I was raised to not show sadness, to not show emotion, like, don't you cry, you know?
Yeah.
Or, like, if you get mad, you get punished for being mad. Like, I mean, it's in our, like, society to be, like, raised in a way that where we don't show emotion. But, like, from my experience, you know, it's okay. I mean, even as a man, like, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel remorse or to be mad at something. That's a normal human emotion.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, you have to reel yourself back in if you go too far with things, you know. But everything should be able to be experienced emotionally by a human, and you shouldn't feel bad about it.
Yeah, I agree.
So don't feel bad about, you know, letting people see you, you know, as a sad person, because maybe they've been through something in their life and they can help you out through your time.
And if anything, man, like, it's all a growing experience, and, like, you'll feel a lot better just getting it out there. Like, I've had friends that just message me, even if it's, like, on Snapchat, and they're just like, hey, I'm having panic attacks, like, horribly bad right now. How did you get through it? And, like, I can just talk to them, and just talk to them for a few weeks, and a few days, a freaking hour, I don't know. Like, just talk to them, and just, like, share your experiences with them. Because, like, we're all humans, like you said, but we're more alike than you would even know. And, like, everybody's had the same struggles, you know? And especially, like, the longer you live, like, even if you, like you were talking about, you know, raised, like, with your parents and stuff like that, to be kind of, like, taught to not have this stuff. But, dude, your parents had, like, they've had their own sadness, you know what I mean? They've had their own anxieties, they've had their own stuff. So, like, even your parents, people, like, they even have the same, they've had the same human experience, you know what I mean? Like, some have had it better, some have had it worse, but everybody's shared emotions. Unless you are a sociopath, you have had sadness, you've had remorse, you've had, like, all these things. So, I think that would be the best. That's my takeaway from this. Freaking talk to people. Be there for each other.
Yes.
And if you're watching this and somebody's trying to talk to you, just fucking respond, man. Talk to them. Just, you know, be there. Be a good person.
We're all humans. We all have thoughts and feelings and emotions. Like, in that aspect, we're the same.
Yeah.
Like, we all feel, we all go through stuff, and, you know, we have the ability to communicate with our mouths.
Yeah.
And share ideas and our feelings. And I think that's one of the biggest aspects of prevention, is sharing your thoughts and feelings with someone else and helping each other get through what you're going through. So don't go through it alone.
Yeah.
Like, don't go through it alone. You don't have to go through anything alone. There's always someone out there to talk to.
Hell yes.
So yes, serious note.
I like it, man. I feel like that's a good ender, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good way to end it. So, guys,
it's like I'm sweating. It's like a sauna in here. So,
but for real, check out Jordan Hendricks. Her podcast should be up by the time this one comes up. And yeah, be on the lookout for the Casey Jarvis one. And we're gonna try to do more Fellas episodes here too.
Yeah, and we're gonna be working on some other things.
Dun dun dun.
Yes. More than just podcasts. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, you guys take it easy. Be freaking kind to each other out there. And yeah, catch you guys next week.
Get some wintergreen lifesavers.
They'll save your life.
They'll save your life.